I'm showing up in your For You page because you're concerned about the rise of fascism here in the United States and you want to know what to do about it. Well, I've got some reading recommendations for you. These are some of the books that I recommend people read before January 20th, 2025, before Donald Trump assumes the presidency again. The very first book is Timothy Snyder's On Tyranny, that if you're seeing this video, you've probably seen this before, and you probably know the first rule. Now, a lot of people have been asking me in the comments, what do we do about all of these corporate leaders, these oligarchs, people with a lot of wealth and power like Mark Zuckerberg and Jeff Bezos? What do we do about them violating the first rule, obeying in advance? Well, sadly, they're oligarchs, and we're just the people. We don't have power to influence what they do in a real sense. And I'm not saying that we are powerless. I'm just recognizing the facts here. It's either Jeff Bezos and Mark Zuckerberg side with a few of us who have opinions about what it's going to take to save democracy, or they side with the most powerful human being on the planet starting January 20th, 2025, and that is Donald Trump, right? What their primary concerns are their profit and their self-preservation, the preservation of their companies and the contracts that their companies can potentially get from a Trump government. And that brings us to today's discussion topic. This is Strongmen by Ruth Ben-Ghiat. Ruth Ben-Ghiat is a historian and NYU professor who wrote the book on Mussolini and all of the fascist leaders since, how they come to power, and what it looks like to fight them and what it looks like after they leave. So if Jeff Bezos and Mark Zuckerberg had read this book, they would understand that capitulating to a fascist, to an autocratic ruler, does not do you any favors in the long run. In fact, today on Ruth Ben-Ghiat's newsletter on Substack called Lucid, she writes about exactly this problem, about how all of these oligarchs are just bending the knee to Donald Trump before he is in power. And she notes how people like all of the oligarchs in Russia who have been loyal to someone like Vladimir Putin for decades have found themselves experiencing untimely deaths in this time of emergency for Russia in their illegal war in Ukraine that has been going terribly for them. Just because Jeff Bezos and Mark Zuckerberg are super, super wealthy oligarchs does not mean that cozying up to an authoritarian like Donald Trump is going to do them any favors. In fact, the public positions that they're taking today in capitulating to an authoritarian is creating more problems for them with more people like us, the consumers of their goods and services. So if you haven't already, make sure you pick up this book. You can check it out right here. And if you use Substack, head over to Lucid, Ruth Ben-Ghiat's newsletter. She has a free version that talks about this very issue, the oligarchs bending the knee to an authoritarian and how it does them new favors. So I'm sorry that I don't have a better answer to what do we do about these oligarchs. Maybe Jeff Bezos, founder of Amazon and seller of books, should start reading stuff like this.